Welcome to the Social Entrepreneurship in Africa podcast, where we explore groundbreaking solutions that drive social impact and transform communities here in Africa. I'm your host, Dr. Joyce Tamale, the co-founder and CEO of Capital Solutions Limited. Today, we are diving into a critical yet often overlooked issue, menstrual health and sustainability. In many parts of Uganda and beyond, access to affordable and hygiene menstrual products remains a challenge, affecting the health, education, and economic opportunities of millions of women and girls. Today's episode, we will be discussing sustainable solutions for women, the impact of reusable pads on health and empowerment. We will also explore how locally made reusable pads are not only improving menstrual hygiene, but also creating economic opportunities and fostering independence for women. Today, we are greatly honored to have our guest speaker, Ms. Rose Kigere, who is at the forefront of this movement, leading efforts to ensure that menstrual health is no longer a barrier to education, dignity, and empowerment of women. Welcome to the show, Rose.
Thank you, Doctor. I'm humbled to be here.
Our dear listeners, we would like to explore by understanding and appreciating who is Rose Kigere, what is her educational background and career, what inspired Rose to start Worry, and later the social enterprise which is known as Durable Pads.
Thank you, and listeners. Rose, a Ugandan and a mother, a feminist with no ifs or buts. But most importantly, I am a global citizen because, globally, I see the challenges that everyone faces, women, girls, young people, and they cut across. So I consider myself a global citizen, and that allows me to explore my wings and our wings as an institution. But career-wise, I have 2 degrees. I did a degree in social work, social administration. That was an extremely exciting time in my life because it opened up a new wave of understanding of how the dynamics of the world look like. But later in life, 10 years after that, I did another degree in human resource because I wanted to know better how to relate with people, but also how to support different human beings achieve their personal goals, be able to reach closer to the things that they yearn and want to do in life. So career-wise, that's what I have done, and that's what I use as knowledge, as wisdom, as strength to serve the people in Uganda and beyond. I got inspired to start the Women Rights Initiative right after university while I was working as a volunteer then with an organization. And I was placed to work in the realm of reproductive health and rights. But practically, I was almost working under someone who was running a medical clinic and serving a lot of women that then were affected and infected with HIV/AIDS. And so I got to have and look into the dynamics of what used to come into the clinic, but also the counseling and the guidance that used to happen then. And I was really inspired. But I also got an opportunity when I was there to undergo the African Women Leadership Institute, an institute that is led by Akina Mama Africa that trains young people on and shaping the leadership the way it should be, but also the way we do and think in the lens of the feminists and in the lens of how things can be changed and can look different if we all take an opportunity to do something. And so after that, it was a game changer. And when I went back home, I committed to start an institution that looks into specifically supporting women and girls in various ways, as looking at their rights, health, leadership, and how they get economically empowered. Because for me, those are the cornerstones that make a difference in the lives of women, especially at grassroots level. So that's the birth of the Women Rights Initiative. And later, with the work that we've been doing over the last 14 years, working with young people, basically in schools, I realized that there's a lot of challenges that young people face, especially girls, while they're navigating school, primary and secondary school, because they're changing from children into young adolescents, and quite a lot happens, and no one is ever speaking when their bodies are changing. So they are trying to navigate life, but with no guidance. And so that's the birth of the social enterprise, Durable Pads, to try and solve some of those issues affecting girls with menstrual health management. Yeah.
Wow, what an amazing journey of yourself, Rose, and also how you shaped and realized the biggest problem that you needed to address. Thank you so much for sharing that. Again, Rose, Worry has been empowering women and youth for over a decade. What are some of the key milestones and impact stories from your work?
So supporting and working to empower women and youth, one of the cornerstones, there are quite many, but I'm going to speak very of two. One that has been a bit longer was the building of the women's shelter. We have the largest women's shelter in Uganda. It's called the Nyonga Women's Shelter, that provides a holistic service to rehabilitate survivors of gender-based violence. But as you're working with women and children that are domestically abused, girls are never away from that corner. They are really either at the side, in the front, or at the back of the survivors that come to report cases. And so we have found ourselves weaving that space, especially for girls that are facing sexual violence, for rehabilitation, for healing, for emergency medical care. And that has been a cornerstone because it comes from a journey of doing it ourselves. We begged as an organization to be able to purchase the land where the shelter sits today. And that for us was a huge milestone, being able to put our hands together and contribute firsthand to the work that we see running today, and that is going to serve 1 million people even after us. The other very key milestone that I'm immensely proud of, I actually laugh every time I think about it, was the crafting and putting together our thoughts to start Reusable as a social enterprise. 7 years back, when we were doing a program on sexual reproductive health, while we went to the schools to educate the young girls and the young boys, we realized that in the rural schools where most of the girls are day scholars, they used to come to school and some days they don't come. So you go into a school to do a program and you find that the girls you met last week, this week are not, some of them are not there. The other week they are coming, the other week are not there. And so we wanted to navigate and understand why are they not attending school regularly and yet they have an opportunity too. And so the schools did not really bother to understand that because, of course, the school has a lot of children. It's usually we go to government schools. And so it wasn't really an issue for them. But for us, it was an issue because we were training them to be leaders. We were putting them in health clubs. We were trying to see how we can get our programs rolling and we have an understanding of the children that we are working with. And so we realized that they stay at home because they don't have menstrual health products. And so we're challenged as an institution on what could we do? What is it that we could bring on that table to add value to the girls so that we have them stay in school, perform well in school, thrive in school, take longer, but most importantly, finish school so that they have their goals met, they have their lives put together, and most importantly, that they grow up to contribute to a greater economy that understands the contribution of women and values them as respectable members of society. And that's the birth of Reusable part. That's how it was back out of the need from the community that we identified while we were executing our reproductive health programs. And I couldn't be more happier. I couldn't be more proud. But most importantly, I couldn't be more humbled because it's very humbling to see change happen over time.
Amazing. Good work. Well done on that. Really, what challenges do women and girls in Uganda face regarding menstrual hygiene? How has access to reusable pads impacted the health and well-being of these women and girls?
So many girls miss school, especially because they don't have menstrual. But the challenge really stems from homes. The challenge is, first of all, for the rural setting where we work, it's poverty. Many parents cannot afford to buy the single-use pads each and every month. And of course, most of the families have more than one child. And so you find that you have about 2 to 3 adolescents within a home. And these parents, some of them are farmers, and so they earn money on a seasonal basis. And because of that, they really can't support these girls as they would have loved to. And so this puts the girls in a place of need, in a place of not being able to afford to get these products as they would have wanted, which affects their performance. It also affects their self-esteem. Some of them really decide to just drop out of school because they can't afford to be stigmatized. And it's quite challenging because once they drop out of school, because they're not in active education, chances are high that they go into and marry or are forced into marriages while they are still young. And so you have a cycle of girls and young women getting married off and having children that are unplanned, which pre-exposes them to poverty. And this cycle goes on and on and on. And so because of that, we have a young generation who are having children. So we have child mothers. And these child mothers are not ready to be mothers, neither are they empowered with the skills and knowledge to handle the new challenges that they face. But also, I believe that the country loses a lot, because this is a workforce that they would have engaged with to be able to be productive, to make sure that they contribute to the tax base of the country, which really never comes to life if we don't look at it critically to be able to support them. And so that's really a challenge. But most importantly, there's a lot of stigma associated with menstruation. In the cultures in Uganda, I believe also beyond, in Africa in general, menstruation is not something that we openly speak about. And so it challenges the girls on how to bring these stories back to their families, to their friends, to their aunties, and to the people that love them, because it's never spoken about. And so it's not something that you can easily just bring up on the table for discussion. And so they find challenges. They get information from peers, from everywhere. Sometimes it is scanty, sometimes it is wrong. And so you find that they are doing a lot of mistakes along the way as they're navigating womanhood.
Good. Thank you very much, Rose, on that. I just paint for us a picture as listeners. Why would a young woman use reusable pads, and what makes them different from other brands? How many women and girls roughly have been able to access these star durable pads?
Yeah. First of all, I would like to say that the reusable pads have 3 or 4 major things that are different. The reusable pads are made out of cloth material. While we are producing these pads, we do not put in chemicals. And so while the girls and the women wear them, we are sure that they are wearing something that is healthy, that they are going to use and reuse over time. And so they don't have to dispose of each and every month, which reduces on the disposal, but also on the way we are looking at our environment, because our environment is getting challenges. And so as we are making these pads, as we are producing these pads, we are cognizant of the climatic change, and we are giving a product that allows them to contribute to making sure that they are preserving the environment, but also because it's safe, it doesn't have any chemicals added to it. Also, when you look at how we make them and the longevity they take, which they take 12 months, we are sure that the girls who are in most need, most especially the girls that are in the rural settings, where they don't have a lot of access to these products, they will be able to stay in school and avoid the stigma and the abuse and all the things that come with menstruation. So when they use them, they're also able to stay in school and compete favorably, study well and not miss out on classes so that their performance doesn't dwindle. But most importantly, that they're able to compete favorably with the rest of the boys that are in the class setting with them, who they all yearn to go together as they are navigating the schools and the period of education. To us, we believe that's something very important. But most importantly and most effectively is that these pads that we produce are not at a high price. They're at a relative price that allows the parents, the teachers, the stakeholders to buy them and give them to the girls to use, and they're able to save as much as possible while still allowing the girls to menstruate with dignity and in perfect good health. And of course, we know that it's challenging for every parent, because not every parent has the affordability to buy these pads each and every time. So we provide a solution that allows them to put something out of their pocket once or twice every year, as opposed to how they would have been buying them each and every month. And of course, this has impacted. We have been able to reach out to quite a number of girls in the last 6.5 years where we've been implementing this social enterprise. Between 2018 to last year, we're able to reach out to 544 girls that were able to have access to the pads, but also we're able to pass on education to about 2,083 girls. While we go to the schools to donate the pads and work with our partners, we also offer a free menstrual health education to the girls. But we also work with the teachers, because we know that once we get out of the schools, each year the schools are enrolling girls and boys within the schools. And so for us, it is important to look at sustainability. When we go to educate the girls, we also educate the teachers, and we also offer them the manuals to stay with them so that the education continues year in and year out.
Thank you very much for throwing in the light on the impact in numbers. We have seen 544 girls access to these reusable pads. That's a great number, but also the free menstrual health education that has reached the number of girls is very, very much appreciated. So Rose, also you have thrown some light regarding the perception of people not wanting to use reusable pads. What else is there that you'd like to inform the listeners, the good things and why you think the benefits of the reusable pads is good for them?
I think the other benefit that is critically important to look at is besides the environment and the longevity of the pads, is the peace. You know, these pads are comfortable, they are soft, they give you the peace that you desire while you're menstruating. Sometimes menstruation can mean to be very traumatic, especially because it comes with pain, it comes with a lot of body changes. You need a solution that will allow you menstruate with joy, with rest, with a peace of mind. And so because these products are made out of cotton and they are soft and the fabric is really nice, it allows you to not worry. It takes away your worries. Of course, we won't say that the pain goes, but because you're wearing and putting on something that is comfortable, it allows you to be in a space and you navigate life a little freely. And it also allows you to not to worry because they are long lasting. While you wear them, it takes 6 hours for you to change it. So that's quite time, even if you're at work, even if you're in school, to be able to change it in a more healthier way and be able to put in something else that allows you to have a day full of productivity. So for me, that is critically important because while you are thinking about the health and the safety of women, the comfort is a key element in making sure that girls feel safe, feel healthy, and that they feel loved while they are doing this, because menstruation is natural. It's not something that we can run away from. And so we have to embrace it with love, and we have to embrace it with a lot of care as we go through it, because it's a natural process. Thank you, Doctor.
Wow, that's really, really impressive and amazing. Thank you for throwing a light on those perceptions. So our dear listeners would like also to know subdural pads is not just about health, it's also about social enterprise. How does it contribute to women's economic empowerment, Rose?
So I think that from the start, it's a chain from where we do the procurement. We have people that supply us materials. We have a range of suppliers who are also women. We have deliberately decided to support them because it's a journey. While we support them, we know that they go back to support the people that they live with, the children, their parents, and their loved ones. And so from the procurement bit and from the people that we get supplies from, we are able to empower them and procure from them. And so we add value to their businesses. But also, we hire seamstresses. We are working with seamstresses that do the actual production of the pads, and we are impacting on them by giving them employment. But also, they are partaking and using the reusable pads and sharing them with the people that they live with and they work with. But most importantly, away from that, while we do the pads, our aim is to reach 1 million girls in a span of 5 years. And so when we do the products and partners, stakeholders, and parents buy from us, they donate the pads that are used in the schools for our goal of girls staying in school and thriving in school. But most importantly, the impact comes back to the community, because while we have empowered girls, we know that eventually we are going to have empowered communities. And when the girls decide to drop out of school and are never able to complete school, we have a vicious circle of poverty. And for us, behind the scenes, while we are running this social enterprise, we want to be able to impact the girls. We want to be able to make a change in the lives of women so that tomorrow we are able to see those success stories that come from the fact that there was support in terms of menstrual health products that allow them to thrive. For us, that's the key element that we look at.
Well noted, well noted. Thank you very much. So in this quest, as you continue to build your social enterprise, what partnerships have you built over the years to push your agenda forward?
We've had quite a journey. As we were starting, we were working with local NGOs. We worked with Salve International. We worked with Child Restoration Outreach. We worked with a number of NGOs that have been supporting us to go to them and do the education in the schools, but also to procure pads from us so that we are able to continue this work. And we realized that we really can't do this work in a manner that is not organized. And so we got capacity building support from GIZ internationally to be able to build our business plan and have a marketing strategy and reorganize ourselves to be able to face the market in a new way, in a more organized manner, and we couldn't be more happier. And along the way, we have been able to receive support to change our product and have it better, and also change our branding. We are happy to say that by May, we would have our product out and ready in a more branded and more visible way for our stakeholders and partners that have been supporting our work over years. And what is critical to note is that as we've been doing this, we have had a local partnership. It is important that the people on ground are able to support your work and support your vision. And so the local leadership and the districts where we work embraced our work, because we work directly with schools. So the ministries and the departments of education at the district level has been very instrumental. They've been a very good partnership to push our work and to be able to listen to our challenges and the challenges we bring on table on behalf of women. But most importantly, we've had to navigate through both private and government partnership. We are happy to say that even in the private sector, we've had partners like the UEDCL, like the National Water, that have been able to come on board and say, what you're doing is good. We want to be a part of that story. And so we've journeyed together, and we look forward to journeying together. And we invite everyone out there that loves and supports the work of women and girls to be able to join us, because together we can make an immense difference. We don't believe in working in silos. We believe in working together. Thank you.
Amazing journey building your partnerships and ensuring that you continue to collaborate and partner, which has taken you these milestones. So again, what has been your aha moment in your journey as you keep pushing this journey of building menstrual health and women economic empowerment?
That's an amazing question, Doctor. I'm smiling. I wish I was on camera to be seen right now. My aha moment was the day when we had our first product out. We had a production officer then who was a male. And when the pads came out, he came into a meeting and said, I am going to give out 5 pieces to each of you, and I want you next month to be wearing these pads so that you give me feedback on how they feel, how they look like, what is your comment about them. And for the first time ever in my life, I wore a reusable pad. Oh my goodness, I have never looked back. I don't expect to look back, because the comfort that came with it, the ability to think that I am not going to be spending over and over again, and me being a mother of girls and having teenagers around, I felt that this was a moment to share, a moment to celebrate, but also because I know deep in my mind that the number of girls that this social enterprise is going to reach over years is going to surpass my dreams, my wildest imagination. And I couldn't be more happier to add value to Ugandans, to add value to East Africans, and to add value to Africans all over the world, because we yearn to reach there, and we know we will reach there one day.
That's really, really amazing. It's a great aha moment. It touched you personally, but also continues to touch many more other lives. Thank you very much. How do you ensure men are involved and communities in the menstrual hygiene agenda?
Thank you. That's quite a good question. Now, when we realize that the menstrual health management agenda does not only involve girls and women, we decided to work with schools. So our strategy involves going to schools, and when we reach the schools, we discuss with the administrators to have an invite of the parents, both male and female, because we know that parents, both male and female, are engaged in the education of the learners while in schools. And so for us to be able to qualify a school to partake of our services, it has to invite for us parents. And while the parents come, we have both male and female. We have meetings with these parents, and the engagement is them understanding in full length and in full depth the issues to do with menstruation. Sometimes the male are hesitant when we are beginning the conversation, but later they appreciate the process. And this has changed the game quite a lot. Within the communities that we have worked with and within the schools we have worked with, we realize that men understand this, and once they understand this, they are able to work with the female parents to support the girls in staying in school. And what better way would it be for parents who are meant to understand? And most importantly, when we are doing the education sessions in the schools, what we do is to ensure that as we are doing this, we are involving the boys. These education sessions involve the boys, because they are going to be fathers, they are going to be husbands, they are going to be boyfriends, they will have children. So the engagement should start at an early age, so that when they grow up, they don't face the same challenges that their parents are facing, and that they know these issues at the tip of their minds, but they also understand that menstruation is normal and it is a part of the story of their lives, because it is through menstruation that menstrual health that we have children, that there's replication, and so we are happy to have them, educate them, involve them, and this year onwards we are also having both male and female ambassadors, and we know we are going to make a difference through them.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you very much on enlightening us on that. Again, I would like to know, how do you keep durable pads affordable while still sustaining this business?
Yes, in the elements of a social enterprise, while you're designing a social enterprise, the most important thing we understood is how do you keep your costs low? So we've done a lot of research, and we found out that the materials that we use are locally available, but also most importantly right now is that they are quite cheaper while you're procuring them in bulk. And we've been able to get some support from URI, the Research Institute in Uganda, which we had an opportunity to interface with while we were designing our business plan. And they've been instrumental in supporting us to navigate the procurement in bulk. And so when you procure in bulk, it allows you to save a lot. And so they've taken us through a journey of procuring from China, which allows us to have a cheaper product, materials, and then costs go down because we have not spent a lot, and we are able to reach out to more girls than we would have reached out to if we did not navigate that. So we've also understood the dynamics of how the business works and how we plan on doing it, because we have a target of the 1 million girls. In order for us to reach it, we have to lessen the costs but keep the quality. And for us, that's the most important element. And we couldn't be more happier to navigate this journey.
Wow, 1 million girls. That's an interesting journey. We are looking forward to reaching those girls with reusable pads. Thank you very much, Rose. So in this quest, are there one or two big challenges that you face while scaling up the durable pads?
Yes, one of the biggest challenges that we have and still navigate is the perception of community towards reusable pads. That's quite something that we have to work with to ensure that there's more information, there's more conversations, open conversations, that we are doing a lot more awareness for people to understand that. But also it engages capital. When you're doing work, for all those years, we've been doing this as a program, and changing it to have it as a social enterprise for purposes of sustainability meant that we have to look for capital. And so navigating the capital element to suit the needs of the business as it is has also been quite something. And so those two have somehow given us sleepless nights. However, there's a saying that if it is not hard enough, then it is not worthwhile. So we are working because we know it's worthwhile, and we have partners on board. We have people that are giving us advice. And of course, we have a platform to tap into, the social entrepreneurship product, which we look forward to and learn from a lot. And so we look forward to navigating that and day by day improve and be able to scale our pads to reach out to more girls as we have committed ourselves to do.
Wow, amazing. Thank you very much, Rose, for sharing some of the challenges that, of course, are not inevitable as you continue to build this very, very critical social enterprise for the young women and the girls. Now, looking ahead, what changes need to happen socially, economically, and politically to ensure every woman and girl in Uganda has access to proper menstrual health solutions?
I'll start with the political element because that's where we navigate the laws, the policies, and everything. Politically, I think that deliberately the leaders in Uganda have to work together to ensure that, first of all, the taxes are scrapped off the menstrual health products, and that they are working towards supporting more girls in school by having them have access to usable pads, just like condoms are given out freely. We should be able to think and deliberately work within our government budgets to be able to supply these products to the girls so that we have them stay in school, thrive in school, perform well in school, but most importantly, finish school. I think that will be the tip of the iceberg. But when we look at the element of economically, I think that a lot of empowerment still needs to be done with the parents in terms of how they understand the supporting girls in school, because it needs to take enormous effort from each partner the government, the parents, the community leaders, the development partners, and every stakeholder to understand that if you don't support people to come up and get empowered, then the challenges do not go away. They still stay, and it becomes a cycle, just like we talk about period poverty. And so working in silos can't work. We have to navigate working together and bringing each other's strength together, put them together so that we together win. And socially, I think we have to normalize menstruation. We have to openly speak about menstruation because it is happening. Imagine the number of women in the whole world each month menstruating. Have you ever stopped to think about it? What does it mean in terms of empowerment? What does it mean in terms of a workforce? What does it mean if they are not empowered? For me, that's what I look at, because I look at myself and I count very many other women in my space, but also very many other girls that have inability to have access. And so for me, that is critically important because it speaks a lot in terms of our economy. It speaks a lot in terms of their contribution back to their economies. But it also speaks a lot if they are not empowered, because it means we are losing out on a lot of potential. One writer said that there's a lot of potential in the grave that goes untapped. I would also say that there's a lot of potential that we do not tap if we don't critically look at issues of health that affect women. And for me, that's what I would say about what we should look at so that we have proper menstrual health solutions for girls and women so that they contribute back to the economy, but they also live healthy, happier, fulfilling lives.
Beautifully put in terms of the strategies, advising government on some of the policies that need to be looked at in terms of the public-private partnerships that they need to engage in, but also parents not to be left behind. So thank you very much for sharing those final guidelines. Again, as we look at the call to action to individuals, businesses, and organizations out there, how can they be involved in your work and how can they support Worry and Study Rebel Pads?
We invite individuals that have time, that have resources to come and work with us to support our work. You can decide to support girls on a monthly basis on our platforms, on our websites. We have a website for Study Rebel Pads, but we also have one for the Women Rights Initiative. You can decide to support us. Businesses can partner with us and buy products from us. The beauty about this program, the social enterprise, is that when you buy products from us, we are able to educate the girls or the women that you're going to educate about menstrual health so that they understand how to use the pads very well. They understand the myths and misconceptions. We are happy to work with you through that, but also we are happy to engage you in our community meeting. Some of our partners will want to go with us where we work and see firsthand how we do this, how we engage and how we involve. And we are also inviting people that have time on their sleeves to be able to design with us and craft with us those beautiful messages that we take out to the girls. We have some people that have time, that have the ability to talk to girls, to empower them, to speak words of wisdom and words of strength. If you're out there and you really can do something, every inch of information, knowledge, time, resources to us matters, because ideally we work like ants. They work together and they're able to achieve. We work like bees. We work together to be able to bring the honey home. And that's what we look forward to.
Wow, interesting. Thank you very much. So our dear listeners, we are wrapping up our discussion, a very exciting, inspiring session with Miss Rose Kigere. So I would like to know, how do you define success, Rose?
Wow. That's quite a huge question. So for me, success is seeing change day by day, because change for me is gradual. It doesn't happen in a day-to-day basis. Of course, I believe there is that change that is in a blink of an eye. But for me, success is seeing change day by day. Just a month ago in January, I had a visit from one of our groups that we educated about 10 years ago and gave them a startup seed fund, and they were able to continue growing it. And today they came back in January and said they bought a piece of land and they are planning to do poultry and planning to do some farming over it. And they've raised over 30 million from the 3 million that we gave them. For me, that's success. That's how I see success. Over time, seeing growth that even can go beyond you and that can outlive your dream. That's how I see success.
Wow, well put. I mean, how better can you put it than that? Thank you very much. And so what would be your final word to our dear listeners on this particular topic?
I would advise our listeners to pay attention in your community, pay attention in the space where you are, and see what is not happening right. When we are talking about teenage pregnancies, we are talking about early marriages or child marriages. What is not happening right in your community? Because as long as you're in the planet Earth, this is happening, but you have a role to stop it. You have a role to make a contribution. You might not stop everyone, but even if you save only 2 girls, and in your budget you can be able to support only those 2 girls, it doesn't matter if they are your biological children or they are people that you have identified alongside the community where you work from. As long as you can make a difference by having them have access to information, access to product, encouraging them to go and do whatever they can do with their strength, their might, you're doing a great deal. And before you know it, they are going to be better adults, they are going to be informed parents, they are going to be a part of a greater society and a greater community that we all yearn to live in.
What else could we really be waiting for, apart from saying thank you very much to our dear guest, Ms. Rose Kigere, for sharing your expertise and experience. So let's keep the momentum going. Support local women-led initiatives, advocate for menstrual health awareness, and also share this episode with a wider community so they can be able to support worry and start durable parts. Rose has been able to share with you her websites. Please don't miss out, reach out on her. And her cell phone number is also available, +256 744 572 490. So you can continue supporting at least 2 pads a girl per month. If you are able to support 10 girls, 20 girls, 30, 1,000 girls, that's the direct contribution you would have made to the worry. We really, really desire that you reach out to her and you continue supporting her. Thank you so much for listening to the Social Entrepreneurship in Africa podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on our social media handles at Capital Solutions for more stories of impact and innovation. Until next time, thank you very much.